so much for taking some time out of your day to spend with me. I hope that you all had a fantastic Saturday and that you are taking care of yourself and continuing to pay attention to what your needs are as you journey beyond narcissistic abuse. Tonight, I want to talk to you about domestic violence and narcissism. I want to share part of my story or some of my story with you because this was part of my reality. And, let me say this first, that not all narcissists are violent, just like not all psychopaths are serial killers. However, every physical abuser, every physically abusive person is most definitely a narcissist. There is no arguing that. It's the unmitigated gall that they have, that they think that they can exert physical violence onto another person because they can't control their emotions, or they feel like that is how they are going to control and domineer over somebody. Yeah, the unmitigated gall. They think that they can exert their wickedness on anybody whenever they feel like it, as a way to maintain power and control over a person. That is a weak person. That is a coward. That is the scum at the bottom of the ocean. They don't care about who they hurt. They don't care that, oftentimes this is a co-parent that they are hurting. They don't care that the children are watching. It is driven by their selfish needs, their selfish desire, their immaturity, their inability to think beyond themselves. They are disgusting. All they care about is themselves, and they will do everything within their raggedy, dusty power to control the narrative of what you say about what happened. So if you're all banged up, they want you to claim that you fell down the stairs, or that you, the victim, you, the one who was offended, that you were responsible for what happened to you, that you were clumsy, that you were not careful, and this happened to you. Oh yeah, and for those that are comfortable and it's exposed within family units, then they want you to be an example, you to be the sound piece of what they will do if they don't get their way. First of all, who do they think they are? They are nothing more than the scum of the earth, and that is how you must think about this person. They are nothing more than the scum of the earth. Nobody has the right to put their hands on you and have their way, like you are a soccer ball, that you're a punching bag. No. For those of you who, like myself, I was married to this person, and it was so difficult, when you talk to people, and when I would talk to some people in the church, and it was like they would turn a deaf ear to the fact that, like, listen, this person will one day kill me, and you want to tell me that God hates divorce. Hear me and hear me clearly. Yes, God hates divorce, but he is a covenant-keeping God. That is why he hates divorce. He knows the pain and he also knows the pain that will follow divorce. He knows that family, the institution of marriage and family, is something that is precious to him. But guess what is also precious to him? Your life. The very things that he put inside of you, and he wants you to live to fulfill those things, they are precious to God. You know what else is precious to God? Your children. He wants to see your children grow up in peace, not in terror. So please, do not be bound. Do not be held back by people who tell you that God hates divorce. Yes, God hates divorce. He never hates the divorcee. So let's just start there. You do what you have to do to stay alive. You do what you have to do so that your children are not trying to overcome a life or a childhood of trauma in their adult years. You do it so that your children can see something better. Even if you become a single parent raising your children, listen. Matthew 6:33 never failed me. It says, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added unto you." That is what God said to me when I was ready to bounce. That is what he showed me. And what he actually showed me, because I was praying, I was crying, I was frustrated, I was tired. I was tired of being told that God hates divorce. And so here I am desperately searching and seeking him to, what do I do? And he showed me that scripture, and he showed me with my kids standing behind me, and he said, keep your eyes on me and everything else will be fine. And I've had to hold on to that as my truth. I'm not special. I haven't done anything magnificent. I've just trusted God. I've trusted an unshakable God. I've trusted a God who does not lie. He stands on his word. He watches over his word to perform it. I've had the blind faith, and I've said, God, whatever you want, let's do this. Yeah, I may have had some immaturity in some of my ways, because some things I went down kicking and screaming, because there was a peeling or a shaking of things that had to come off of me. But I understand and I recognize that had it not been for the Lord on my side, the kids have never lacked anything. And why I'm saying this is, I don't work a marvelous job that brings in beaucoup money or whatever, but we lack nothing. We have everything that we need, and they have most of what they want. They are happy, well-adjusted children. And one thing about being or co-parenting, and we don't do much co-parenting because the kids have canceled him. They don't want anything to do with him because they know who he is. But it's over the years, because it's been so many years. Like, you have to remember that my oldest child will be 18 this year, and my youngest will be 15. So there's been many years. And over these years, I've had the position to be able to sit back and watch the narcissist's life. Let me tell y'all, I'm saying this to encourage you to look forward. And when I say look forward, I mean seek ye first the kingdom of God. Keep your eyes focused on God. He will take care of the injustices that have been done against you. His word says that vengeance belongs to him. There were times when I would literally be filled with so much anger that I wanted to see revenge happen. I wanted to see the hand of God. And I would pray about it. And, at the end of it, I would always say, you know what, God, your will be done. Because he must do it in his way, not according to what I want or my anger or what I desire to see, but God, do it the way you want to do it. And I've been able to see it. And I'm not saying that this is how he will do it for you, but trust him. Trust him. Trust that God has your back. But what I really want to express to you today is that, these narcissists, these people, these fragile ego having creatures want the whole world to evolve around them. They want you to serve them. They want to be the king and the queens of their castles, but are not accountable or responsible for these same castles. They use coercive and controlling behavior, all because they want power over somebody, all because they actually delight in terrorizing people. You have got to be sick to be delighting in terrorizing your household where your own children are growing. And don't ever think that because the narcissist posts pictures up with the new supply and they got all these family pictures and they've moved on and had new kids, that suddenly they don't act the same way. A leopard never changes its spots. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. So when this man first started putting his hands on me, I don't even remember how it happened. It was so long ago, but it was over something small, and it was just a small thing, and it was easy to dismiss. But don't dismiss these behaviors. They groom you for what's to come. And because they have this charismatic way about them, their father is an angel of light. They are going to change. You are going to find them all meek and kind, and everybody likes them because that's the image they want to project. So they transform into that. to suit those audiences. But of course, when they're home to you, I mean, like, hello, they don't even think highly of you in those moments because they're just so full of themselves. And apparently they drank too much of the devil's Kool-Aid that they believe it. Nah. They are, you know, they start with the small things, and then it grows into something bigger. And you know, one thing is that they want you to be scared of them. They want you to be fearful. But hear me, they are the cowards. You don't have to throw your weight onto somebody else. You don't have to beat, choke, kick, none of that to articulate your point or to get what you want. They do it because they enjoy it. They know exactly what they are doing. When they apologize, don't believe it. They are just apologizing to keep you in the situation. This narc would be good for 2 weeks and get right back to his foolishness. I was so fearful. And I had reasons why, you know, I felt like these were valid reasons for me not to move on. And honestly, I was still so broken from my own earlier traumas that I couldn't see past what was happening. And so I stayed. I also stayed because I grew up in a 2-parent household. I didn't see this. And so I was wondering, what am I doing wrong? Instead of asking the relevant question, like, how do I get out of this? I'm thinking, what did I do wrong? Because he was always telling me everything that I did wrong. I didn't look pretty enough. I wasn't the right weight. I wasn't this. I wasn't that. And make you, listen, if I ever felt, listen, this person like had me feeling like I was the most embarrassing spouse, that I wasn't worthy of being taken out on dates because there were no dates. I remember one time when we finally did have a babysitter for the kids, and you know, because that was always the excuse why we couldn't go out on dates. And he said, like, listen, I'm just not that bored to be seen in public with you. And I was like, oh. And at that point, you know, I said, it's time for me to start working on myself. And that meant that I started giving myself the attention that I needed to become stronger mentally. You've got to fight this with your mind. Our emotions will always give us away. But if we start fighting with our mind and telling ourselves who we are and doing things that would elevate our inner man, our inner spirit, we'll become stronger emotionally. It's going to follow. But you know, I had to build myself up mentally to be able to move forward. I was fearful that I couldn't raise these 2 kids by myself. Hello, the truth of the matter is, we all know how many narcissists are. This was a typical one. I was already raising them by myself. So don't be fearful. Don't allow fear to hold you back. That's what they want you to believe. They want you to believe that sometimes, you know, you have to step out on faith. You have to step out on faith. I never called the police because I always thought that I did not want my kids to see this. I didn't want them to be exposed to this. And I was also fearful, like, what would happen when it was all said and done? You know, everybody believed that this charismatic angel of light will, you know, they believed him to be such a nice and kind and sweet guy, and nobody could see him do these things. And so then I didn't want to be the crazy one. Listen, they can think what they want. Eventually, in time exposes weak bonds. Time exposes everything. He'll be found out for who he is. And it wasn't until our children called the cops on him because he had his knee in my chest and he was choking me. Our son at the time must have been about 7 or 8. And he jumped on his dad's back to get him off of me. This creature took our son and threw him into the wall so he could come back and try to finish me off. Don't risk your lives. Your children don't have to see what mine did. Your children don't have to be the ones to make that phone call. You can make the phone call. And the beautiful thing is the state picked it up and there was nothing that could be done by anyone. The state picked up the case. And you know what was so crazy about this whole situation when he was arrested is that his greener pastures decided to bail him out. And so once they were back together, and he decided that he would take her for what she was, or like when he decided to thank her, and when she was pregnant, he went to blows on her. And she's the one who told me this. She shared this with me, and she shared how she was fearful that she would lose her baby. These creatures don't change. They don't change. They don't change. She saw the charismatic side of him. She still sees it. And, they don't change. They're not going to therapy because they want to save your relationship. They're going to lie to you about going to therapy. They'll go to therapy just for as long as they need to and back out, or they'll simply tell you that you need to go to therapy. And honestly, that's the best thing that creature ever said to me, is that I need to go to therapy, because apparently, according to him, I was the one with the problem. And it was in therapy where I began to see me. And I was able to say, it doesn't matter, whatever it costs, whatever it takes, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to move forward and I'm going to fight. I'm not going to be afraid. I know how frightening it can be. I know how fearful it can be when you're faced with, the weight of the responsibility of everything. But God is faithful. I want to tell you, God is faithful. Hear me, we have not wanted for anything. My kids are taken care of. They don't have the whole world, but they have everything that they truly want and need. And it's not because I'm a marvelous mom. It's because He is a marvelous God. And there is nothing special about me that God, if He can do it for me, surely He can do that and more for you. Please hear me. You don't have to stay. You don't have to take sexual abuse. You don't have to take financial abuse. You don't have to take physical, verbal, any of that. You are above that. And the narcissist is just desperate to keep you in that position, because that's where these miserable creatures feel like they are winning in life. And if you have to do this to people to feel that you are somebody worth something, child, you are the scum of the earth. I thought I would just share my story a little bit more to encourage somebody. I know that, when it comes to domestic violence, for some people, and myself included, there was so much shame in speaking about it, because, a lot of people will say, well, I wouldn't have stayed, I would have moved. That's great. But the reason why people don't move is because we choose to stay with the devil that we know than face the condemnation of the world out there. So be kind and just be, listen, because sometimes you don't know unless you've been in somebody else's shoes. But I'm going to try my best to attach some resources that I believe can help you. I know the YMCA is a fantastic resource. And also, if you have experienced this, please do share your story with us, or what you are comfortable sharing, as well as the resources that you used or that are available that somebody else is depending on. And please share this video. Share this video with somebody who may need some encouragement. Share this video hoping that it will reach somebody who was like me, who thought that there was no way out. There is always a way out. He is a merciful God, and He just calls us to continue to trust Him. So I hope that you continue to take care of yourselves. Thank you so much for your time. Have a fantastic rest of the night.